Jax top against Jarvan top. I'm already hyped. Brand Jungle against Zach Jungle, Malzahar mid against Kassadin. Oh, the two ancient rivals duking it out. Remember when who cares about the bot lane matchup? Remember before the whole lore rework came in? The whole reason that they were so antsy at each other is because Malzahar is the one who sacrificed Kassadin's daughter to the void. That was all the way back in like season 1, man. When the Journal of Justice was still a thing, there was a article on the Journal of Justice issue, not 10, so either like between 10, 11, 12, or 13. There was an article that kinda leaked an audio recording of what happened that day. Essentially, like Kassadin tries to stop Malzahar but wasn't able to make it in time before Malzahar sacrifices Kassadin's daughter to the void, and then there was a huge lore rework, and Acacia got stuffed into Shurima, and now the void is just somewhere in an alternate realm in the desert. I'm pretty sure they still hate each other, but for different reasons now. And Kassadin's daughter has been this huge, long-standing tale in lore. Since season 1, we had like fan concept art of her. Before Kaisa was even remotely a thing. We had fan art of what Kassadin's daughter was envisioned to look like. I still have this vivid imagery of this one really cool fan concept of a Shuriman girl with a green side blade, like those Protoss side blades from StarCraft. But it was green in her hand, and she was basically like a girl Kassadin. But obviously, like, if that was actually Kaisa's concept, she would have been a mage assassin instead of the AD carry that we know her as now. And even now, the lore team doesn't outright confirm that Kaisa is Kassadin's daughter, but they make so many either indirect or direct references when Kaisa and Kassadin exists. Even when Swain used to have a special voice line interaction with Kassadin before Kaisa's release, like right before Kaisa's release, Swain had a special voice line that kind of teased Kaisa when he is near an enemy Kassadin. Basically, he mentioned something about Kassadin hearing the rumor that his daughter came back. That was during the time when the Kaisa teasers were just coming out too. But they pretty much confirmed it without outright directly saying, "Oh yeah, Kaisa is Kassadin's daughter." But everybody knows. You know, I know. The lore team knows. They're not denying it, and they pretty much confirmed it with all the references and all the voice line interactions. Just never once directly did they say that Kaisa is Kassadin's daughter. But this rivalry, even in lore, man, it goes deep. Like back in season 1, these two people wanted to kill each other on sight. But in lore, Malzahar is way stronger than Kassadin. Not sure about the current lore. Like I said, there are some aspects of current lore that I still haven't caught up with yet, just because I don't feel like it. Like I'm caught up with Ionia, I'm caught up with Noxus, and I'm caught up with Demacia. And then you go to like the jungle and Shurima, and then it's like, oh, I don't care. I hope that doesn't really offend any lore lovers. Meanwhile, bot lane, aggressive trade here coming out from the Sivir, who is also, by the way, Shuriman now in the lore rework. She wasn't always Shuriman, so I'm trying to get at. Oh, Jarvan. Jax has to run away. He might find a kill. One more spear will do it. He doesn't find it. Flash traded for Flash, but this is support Flash for AD carry Flash. Lulu might be stranded. She doesn't have Polymorph. She used it on the Leona. One more auto will do it. Sivir finds the first blood. One more auto might also kill the Aphelios. And now the Sivir running it down here. The teleport will threaten her. Nope. No teleport. Jax's teleport gets cancelled by the flag, it seems, up top. Noble move by the Jarvan. I think Sivir was prepared to run it down if the Jax showed up, which is hilarious. But no, she will make it out just fine with a kill on Lulu in her pockets, which is great. She is up against Aphelios. Once again, in patch 10.8, received a slew of nerfs. I will say, for the record, percent armor penetration is worse than lethality early on. But late game, 18 lethality or however much Aphelios is supposed 12 lethality, however much he's supposed to get, may as well not exist. So his amount of free armor pen late game is garbage. You put a tank in front of Aphelios late game, he is so much less effective now than he was a patch ago. Not to mention all his weapons now scale up 4 levels extra, so now they fully power on at level 13. So basically both his early power and his late power have been curbed pretty significantly. But my theory with this patch change that I never really tested because I'm too busy one-tricking Nico nowadays. Because he gets lethality early on, and lethality early is so good, it might be worth maxing lethality as your stat over AD. Which sounds pretty freaking stupid, because 3 AD is really good when you can get it 6 times. 18 extra AD is nothing to scoff at. But what if you just got like 12 lethality instead? Maybe that's really good. I definitely have to convince someone to try this out for me and report back with results, but I don't know, I think it could be at least decent for him to at least rescue his really garbage early laning phase now. And his pretty mediocre mid game and definitely really bad late game now. Aphelios late game has... I think it's safe to say that nowadays Aphelios late game gets pretty easily outclassed by quite a few champions now. Just because he's one of the shorter range ADCs, his ultimate doesn't hurt nearly as much as it used to. And this patch might have been the killing blow where he lost a lot of armor pen. So now he might just be a pretty middle of the road ADC. But I do think they kind of over nerfed him at some point, but they just keep nerfing him. I know that sounds weird because he still has pro play presence, but I don't think that's a metric you use to define whether or not a champion is strong or weak. His ultimate is still insane utility, but look at how many nerfs that's been dealt to it over the past few patches. I think he was in a pretty good spot, and this patch might have made him weak. Like, extremely weak. But we'll have to see for results. We'll have to wait and see the results. No one will argue that he was definitely the most busted thing in the world on his release. Although I do think after like, what, 6-7 patches of continuous nerfs, I think he was fine like 1 or 2 nerfs ago. But that's just my hot take. Clearly, some form of balancing data suggests otherwise, which is why he received an early game nerf and a late game nerf. All in one this patch. And, you know, I trust the data more than I trust my own perceptions, because as the playlist of this whole series suggests, I am in fact just a washed up League player who only knows how to play Nico nowadays. And nobody else. But hey, give me Nico and I can tell you a lot about her. Not just the one crazy build I'm doing, but about almost all her builds. Now let's get back to this game. So mid lane is interesting. Both champions here want to scale up. Although interestingly, Kassadin goes for the tier first. I don't necessarily agree with this decision because Kassadin's laning phase almost requires Catalyst for him to be relevant. It is almost more than half of his sustain. The other half comes from Fleetwood work. But his Catalyst is what enables him to lane for a prolonged period of time. And skipping that in favor of an early tier might not be the best decision. Because Kassadin doesn't have problem stacking a tier if he gets tier like after Rova even. Meanwhile, solo kill up top for the Jarvan, which is amazing considering he's like 3 whole mini waves behind. More than 3. But he solo kills the Jax regardless by crushing on Ignite. But I do think Kassadin doesn't need that early tier. If Kassadin is fine, even if he rushes Roa and then builds a tier, like he can still fully stack it just because how frequent all his spells are up. His E essentially has no cooldown in the team fight. His ultimate can be cast whenever, and in fact you do cast it outside of combat to stack it up. he can get a tier fully stacked in record time. So rushing tier first is a decision I don't really understand. You're giving up a lot of lane sustain for what is essentially an earlier power spike for no reason. You can finish over, get a tier, and then by the time you're done your next item, which is usually Lichbane, you have a fully stacked tier. He stacks it crazy fast. You don't need to get tier this early. The Malzahar Puke will try to dissuade the gank, so he will walk out with his life. It's also equally interesting because he's up against a Malzahar that has lost chapter, so this Malzahar will never leave lane again if he's not insanely pressured. He's gonna reset now and grab what I'm assuming is gonna be a complete Luden's Echo. Okay, just the blasting one. In that case, might as well get tier 2 boost instead. And teleport back to lane. That play is kinda okay, but teleport is still longer cooldown than it used to be. So I'm not sure about this play to just reset for a blasting one, because he wasn't in a dangerous position health-wise. Or sustain-wise. He would have been fine to just stay, but now he has no teleport. Teleport is a pretty key summoner spell nowadays. You know, here comes the Zac gank. Sarah's gonna bubble herself, but it does get popped regardless. And the polymorph goes onto her, but the CC got stacked. So now the Sivir might be totally fine. No, she's not. Lulu brings her down. Leona has to run for the hills. The Zac's gonna force it here, but she gets stunned up by the Leona. The Aphelios. Oh my god, he can't punch through Eclipse. Oh, he takes so long to kill her. The Cataclysm locks in the Jax. They get a 1-for-1 up top. Zac gonna get blobbed up by the Leona's best efforts. That's kind of where the nerf hits, man. You see the pistol hit Leona like... Okay, the pistol hit the tower, but you see the flamethrower spread not kill her after like 3 shots? That's kind of ridiculous. I don't think he should do that little damage. I know he used to do too much, but I think this is too little. Now Brand gonna get a second set of buffs. Has anybody on this map even seen Brand yet? Like if red team hits tab, do they just assume he's AFK? Because he still appears as level 1? Has he shown up anywhere yet? Don't remember seeing him. In fact, I forgot who the blue team jungler was until the camera showed it to me just now. Malzahar gonna vision up Kassadin. Speaking of visions, another blast from the past. You remember when Malzahar could do that without drawing tower aggro? Because, okay, the first version of Malefic Visions puts the debuff on you, and it doesn't start damaging you until a full second later. So what Malzahar used to be able to do is walk under tower with the minion wave, eat a guy, and walk away, and not take tower damage. Which, as stupid as it sounds, wasn't really abused that much, or at least wasn't abused as much as it should be. Because let's be honest, Malzahar pre his rework wasn't really a good champion. At all. Like his W and his ultimate got combined together, and his passive became his W. That's way better than his passive. And his new passive, which is just this bonkers broken shield. And even despite that, he's still not commonly played because he still has glaring weaknesses as a champion. Now Dragonflight gonna break out, red team will secure it, but here comes the blue team pouncing on the Zac. Zac has recently been blocked, he doesn't have it, but Lulu's gonna give him the wall growth. He's still alive, he's jumping through the backline. Aphelios Moonlight Vigil Flamethrower hits onto the blue team, and now blue team has to try to run. The teleport comes in from the Jax, he's looking for the kills, he's gonna find one, he's gonna find the Aphelios, he's gonna try to find the Kassadin. Kassadin has the Rift Rock over, he's gonna ditch the Lulu, and the Lulu just now drops to the Jax. That's gonna be a 3 for 3. But red team secures the Drake. Jax gets some free time up top, and boy, he needs that income. He is so poor compared to the Jax right now in terms of CS. Even with Ignite, I don't think Jarvan has inflicted enough damage onto this lane to justify taking Ignite over the teleport. And you can see their teleport actually helping blue team turn around a fight that went really fast, really quickly, because the Aphelios found some time to free hit. Now Aphelios not done his Infinity Edge yet, and Sivir is sitting on a completed Reaver. It's worth noting that because Sivir in this build isn't taking Nimbus Code Gathering Storm, she does get free boots which means that not only does she run a little bit faster, she also pays 300 less gold for her build early on, which matters a lot for a champion like Sivir. So Zac is gonna slingshot in, gonna find the 2-man kiss. Sivir gets ignited, she's gonna drop to the sniper, and Zac finds the Leona under the tower. Jackson counter strike, he has to walk away from tower aggro to pop it, just so he doesn't tank any extra shots. But he's quite ahead in his lane still, but bot lane's kinda getting... Well, they're not getting run over. Sivir's doing fine in the CS department, but they're being ganked quite a bit, and the Aphelios has found some free kills, so he might actually start scaling up to be a problem now. The Jax is locked in the cage. Rift Walk, easy kill there by the Jarvan, flagging it back. The Zac gets burned to a crisp by the fire. The red team will lose their turret. Malzahar also rotates down here. They're gonna start a push. Malzahar's gonna channel teleport to the top lane for a reason, I guess. Ah, it's his life. Jarvan's gonna go for a reset. The Aphelios gonna come back to farm. He is wearing his pistol now. Brand gonna clear away the vision in the dragon pit. 16 minutes in, the next dragon is 2.5 minutes out. Sivir's gonna try to make a push happen up top along with Malzahar. They're not gonna kill this tower. Oh wait, the Woiling. The Woiling takes an extra tower shot. Oh, what a hero Woiling. They get the tower. Brand's gonna light up the Castle, and Castle has to flash away. The Rift Walk not being predicted out by Solar Flare. So now he gets to walk free. He finished Archangel first, and then he does Roa. That actually does delay his power spike a little bit, because Roa takes 10 minutes to charge, and a fully stacked here on Castle takes like 5. So it doesn't make sense to build a longer scaling item second. Zac's gonna get caught out. His blobs just came up, I'm pretty sure, and it's gonna get killed off again. Sivir finds a very valuable kill for herself. Jarvan's gonna find the flag, but he flags in the middle of 4 people. Very dead Jarvan. Not sure if he went AFK or he got stunned for the whole way through, because who can tell really. Jackson get caught out here by the Kassadin. Kassadin scales up, that's a problem. Sivir dives way into the backline, but what is she doing? That's a Kassadin, you can't fight that. Kassadin finds a 4th kill. The Brand gonna try to make a play happen. Pillar of Flame not gonna happen. He's taking tower shots the whole way through. The Aphelios Moonlight Vigil finds a root on 2, and the Kassadin's pouncing in. He wants some blood. Leona might be the victim. She's so squishy. The Aphelios finds her, and the Kassadin Rift walks forward. Quadra kill for the Kassadin. Ace for the red team. And there's some plays you don't do, and as a Sivir diving a Lulu with a Kassadin and the Aphelios beside her is probably one of those plays where you don't do. And now they're gonna kill this tower here. Aphelios doesn't have the correct weapon combination to juice up his chakram, but it doesn't even matter. They're gonna find it here. And it's gonna be a pretty free tower, all things considered here, for the red team. And Kassadin, despite itemizing in the opposite order, I say, is gonna finish his boost and finish his Roa off that juicy quadra kill. Pretty sure he has the money. It doesn't cost that much too. It's just 2,300 to finish those 2. He does get the Rod of Ages. Is he gonna get the boots? He can afford the boots. Buy it. What's he waiting for? Wait, is that him? No, that's not him. Wait, he does. That is him. He bought the Rod. Why don't you finish boots? It's better than the Rod at this point. I mean, why not? Although picking up the word, pretty admirable. And also, given that last fight just happened, if I was in his position, I am Magi's right now. He is in a position to stack it this game and just be a truly terrifying threat. This is not a game where blue team has the silence and the lockdowns to answer you, because Malzahar is currently not a threat to him, and he definitely won't be if he gets really strong. The Brand's gonna try to lock him down. The Seer will find it, and the Solar Flare lockdown not there. He chooses Rift Walk in. That's lapse in judgment. He had no reason to die there. He could have very easily lived, but he chose to die instead. The Zac's gonna come in to turn the fight. Aphelios get some free shots in. The Sivir trying to cut out the Zac, but here comes the Jarvan from the back. Sivir's in the 1v3 that she cannot possibly win, and she's going to be taken out here. A 4-for-2 trade here for the red team. They are just getting more and more ahead in this game. Certainly doesn't bode well for any blue team fans. I always root for the good guys in lore. Okay, well, it's really freaking gray, the whole lore about Ikathia. There's no really good guy, bad guy in lore. in the void. Actually, I lied. There's very clearly good guy, bad guy in the void. Is there? Because the void is all about survival, and you gotta do some pretty nasty things to survive. And I don't necessarily think Cassidy's like the best paragon of like good virtue or whatever. But at least he's fighting to keep the void away. So that's a good guy in my book. And I always root for the good guys to win. Because what's the point of letting the bad guys win just for the sake of dramatic tension? We are gonna have another gank here probably. They're gonna set up the river, trying to look for a mid lane pincer. Ganking mid lane here. Coming in, 4-man strong. Oh no, they found the Sivir and they found the Leona. They can't run from a Kassadin. Kassadin has Rift Walk. He has Flash on his ultimate. Now he's gonna Rift Walk forward. He's feeling bold. Might just be a repeat of last time. He's opting in. The Mazar has to try to run. He can't really find the time window to ult. Here comes the Jax. He wants to kill on the Aphelios. He's not gonna find it. And the Aphelios gonna land a moonshot. Long distance. Nailing the Jax. And Jax has to recall. Red team once again gets picked up. Blue team once again gets picked off. And they drop a few more bodies to the ground. And really, they haven't found a play that works for them yet. And time is kind of running out. They do scale, sure, but you can't really outscale Kassadin. Or that could happen. That works too. This might also be a desperation Baron. Kassadin is easily their strongest champion. Now I'm glad he didn't finish that Magi. He would have lost a lot of stacks there. He does have teleport, so red team, all they have to do is hold blue team here. If they can bait them into an unfavorable fight, Kassadin can teleport in and clean house. This might all start with a Jax. He's gonna get knocked by the flag. He has a flash away. Blast comes himself over. That's gonna leave the Leona and the Brand alone in the crater. But they find the Jarvan kill. The Aphelios flamethrower is shredding down the lane, doing so much damage. But that's not gonna be enough. Sivir finds that kill. Brand incinerates the blobs. And Lulu's also gonna drop. Blue team finds that miracle team fight, getting 5 picks for 1. Kassadin died very early, but I'm counting it anyway. He does have teleport. He's gonna make his way back. He has to assume like blue team starting Baron or something. This is perfectly dark. He's gonna blue orb and spot it. He knows this is happening. How much hard lockdown does blue team have? They don't have Malzahar Puke. They do have a silence. Kassadin works this out. He knows it's coming. He's gonna flash over. He doesn't steal the dragon. And that one stun conks him into next Tuesday. He's just gonna die. Not the best utilization of a fed Kassadin. And you know, no matter how fed you are, if you throw away your lead like this, does it really matter? I don't think so. He's died twice now without really making any contribution. He went from 10 stacks on the Dark Seal to 2. That kind of sucks. It means you just died twice. You didn't get a single kill or assist. You went from 8-1-7 to 8-3-7. Your scoreline may still look really impressive, but dying twice in a row like that is extremely damning. It sets you back so far that losing a minute and a half on the map doing active plays is enough to sometimes permanently set you back. You can kind of see here, blue team's riding with the momentum. They went from not finding any favorable fights to suddenly finding pickoffs of their own, and now the game is swinging in their favor. I think the game is now fully in their favor. Like, this is easily blue team being very ahead now. They're wearing Baron, they have a Drake advantage, they're on Soul Point, and suddenly red team is in trouble. If anything, losing stacks on your stacking item in a row is very telling of where this game is going if you're supposedly the most fed member. Now, Aphelios is kind of coming online now. In one more level, he'll be back to essentially pre-nerf levels. He's level 12. But he does hurt. Like, he does so much damage just by himself still. His only problem is that he can barely survive. Moonlight Vigil will miss. That's not really a good way to start a team fight. Kassadin's being forced back as well. Aphelios gets shielded up, but he's losing so much of his health. Kassadin's gonna... No, not Kassadin. Jarvan's gonna get puked on. The Paragon not enough. He transfers the A's over to a teammate before he dies. Like a good Samaritan. Wait. Blue team's gonna push down the lane. They're gonna look for the inhibitor siege, inhibitor tower siege. Inhibitor tower will fall. The inhibitor is next to follow. Gonna try to chunk this out. The Aphelios gonna send some cannons. He's gonna find 2 roots. But is there any follow-up? Cassidy's gonna get locked down by the shield. He has to go away. He's so low. There's no ignite taking on him and another Zax next in the ring. They're doing a one-on-one fight. There's one engage after another. If the first person don't work, send in the next. And now it's Aphelios' turn. He just straight up dies in the arena. Cassidy still resetting back at base and Lulu's being caught out. She will take the Leona down with her somehow. And now Cassidy, he needs to try to find a kill. But riff walking in like that is not the way to go, my friend. Not into CC. And now this might be a blue team end because red team has just died 1 by 1. And it's now Jarvan's turn to try to make a hero play, but there's no hero play if you're just going 1 by 1. You think this is how they save Private Ryan? They just send one guy in, it's like, the Nazis got them, let's send in the next guy. That's not how you save somebody. You gotta all go in at the same time. But that's not what they're doing. And now the momentum fully against them, the game fully against them, the map fully against them, whatever god they believe in is fully against them. And this game seems like it's been fully lost. And note that Cassidy's early build mistake that I alluded to is costing him now. Now that the game is nearing the point where it's fully doomed, his Roa is not even fully stacked yet. And he's not done death cap. He finished those 2 items so fast and got stuck working on this 1 death cap for like 10 minutes. He knows that he's not strong anymore. He knows he doesn't get to call the shots. Blue team just made so many favorable fights. And Sivir is outmaneuvering the Aphelios here at every turn. Aphelios does more damage than Sivir right now. It's just that he's never in the correct position to do it. And his team is never engaging in the correct context for him to do any damage. Sivir did have a few plays in the mid game where she got caught out. But look at her now. Those mid-game plays no longer matter when you get to this stage in the game. When you're just kind of rolling over your opponents now off the back of 1 Baron, off the back of 1 really good Drake fight, 1 really good siege. These things add up super fast, and these were really positive events to begin with. Sivir's gonna solo kill some vision. And really, red team doesn't have a base anymore. And now they've lost vision in their jungle. It's purely guesswork where the rest of blue team is now. They only see 3 people up top. Where's the rest of them? Jax is bot lane. Brand is making his way here. Sivir's gonna send a few boomerangs into the mini wave. And the Aphelios going for a Hail Mary pop. He pops the Malzahar shield with Moonlight Vigil, which is just about the worst usage of his ultimate you can imagine. Cassidy get locked up. He has to try to run away. He's so squishy. Well, why would you 3rd item death cap on? Oh my god. I don't understand the Cassidy. I really don't. He's not nearly... Like, he's so Dark Seal. That's how bad the game got for him. And his 3rd item is still a death cap, which is not an item you go when you're behind. It costs way too much and offers too little if you're behind. Because you don't get to be alive long enough to make use of it. This might be a Hail Mary engage here for red team. It's do or die for them. It seems like their answers are just die. Brand chunking out pillars from the other side. He's sending in the pain train. Notably, Ocean Soul is spawning now. It's up. If blue team grabs this, they get the soul. Aphelios Sentry Turret has to do some work here. He's so poor that he can't afford to use Chakrams offensively in team fights. He's just dropping it as a sentry to wave clear. That's kind of feels bad. Like, honestly, it's your Chakram's better used for that in team fights. He does have a pistol. Pistol flamethrower is a really good combo. It does enable him to skirmish in team fights, make brief trades really effectively. But now blue team's gonna turn for Baron. And Cassidy, his call might be grab blue buff into the Ocean Drake because they need to shut out the soul. But what good is shutting out the soul when you just lose Baron? Because if you lose this Baron, you essentially lose the game. You have so little of your base left to play with that if enough Baron minions run down into your base, it's over. You cannot clear them out fast enough. Blue team will happily lose the Drake for this. Yeah, Dragon's gone. Big whoop. They get Baron. Cassidy. Oh no, does he get soloed by the Jax? Oh my god. Oh my god, he got soloed by a Jax. He's not level 16, right? Oh. If there was ever an example of how you shouldn't play Cassidy, when you get so ahead early, it doesn't make sense that the Cassidy that was once formerly 8-1-7 would then transition his amazing scoreline and item power spikes into 8-5-8. This is not the efforts of one team outplaying the other. This is also a mix of the Cassidy himself making all the wrong decisions. Engaging fights offensively with Riftwalk, you better make sure you do that with backup, and he's never done it with backup. And he's just been locked down and killed off instantly. He might do it again. No, Riftwalk away like a smart boy. He's made way too many aggressive plays, and you can tell it's costing him. Jarvan's gonna throw the kitchen sink. He's gonna assassinate the Sivir, but at what cost? It's not like blue team's run out of damage. Oh wait, maybe they ran out of damage. Nope, just kidding. Jax is still alive, and so is the Brand. The Brand really hasn't done that much this game, but in the face of your team being so ahead, you don't really need to contribute all that much. One thing is, Cassidy might need to play here. Nope, he doesn't get to play. Oh no. You can't offensive Riftwalk like that. You need to use Riftwalk fluidly. You need to bait them around you. You can't just blindly dive in to hope for the best. Zax's gonna get blobbed under his tower. Ophelio's gonna get clubbed out with a lamppost. And this game is officially over, with blue team claiming the victory. Well done, everybody. What a fall from grace that was.